A message found after 53 years. AI escapes again, and I plead the fifth 111 times? Wow. Don't you know, can't you hear, won't you see? Gene here, alive and in living color right here on the YouTube, presenting to you. Gene has concerns. Top 9. The top 9 things for the week of August the 2nd, 2026. And what did this top 9 show? Well, these are all things that have happened throughout the week that kind of leave me scratching my head, Ow, got a splinter. But, things that are like, what in the blue hell? Seriously? Really? Dumbassery at its finest, flaming idiots, and occasionally a holy wow moment. And not necessarily all going to be the biggest stories of the week, just ones I found interesting and I want to share with you.
Number 9.
Let's get started with the good story of the week here. And a 53-year-old message in a bottle was found recently. And here's a screenshot of the bottle and a message inside. And a bottle tossed into the water by 2 little girls in 1973, spent 53 years traveling and possibly getting stuck somewhere, and eventually brought one sister a message from the other. And John Cotterman found the bottle July 2026. He was cleaning wetlands in Upper Township near the Jersey Shore and part of the Tidelands Initiative, excuse me. And inside the message dated August the 20th, 1973, it came from a childhood vacation at Ocean City's 2nd Street Beach. The message was supposedly from a 9-year-old girl, Lori Blair Brown, but her sister, Allie Spencer, helped write it. It was not a traditional type note. The girl wrote a miniature adventure story. Lori supposedly had been captured by a sponge fisherman, taken aboard their boat, forced to dive into shark-infested waters. It included their home address so whoever discovered it could respond. The reveal after Kerman posted the note online, it reached Allie. Lori died from cancer, unfortunately, back in 2017. That transformed a funny childhood prank into something much more meaningful. Lori apparently remained convinced that somebody would eventually find that bottle. She was right, but it took 53 years. Allie plans to reserve the message in a shadow box for the family. But that's kind of like a holy wow moment, what are the odds of something like that happen? A 9-year-old girl writing a joke in a bottle about being captured by a fisherman, and 53 years later, that joke reminded her family exactly who she was. Now, if you found a bottle and a message in a bottle like that, what would you do? Would you try to contact the people involved? Makes you wonder.
Number 8.
Other holy wow moment. It's actually moments, as I kind of compiled 3 archaeology events into one. And discovery number 1, hidden charcoal. Scientists discovered that ancient cave paintings may have been hiding their own timestamps. The discovery concerns the Font de Graume cave in France. Its walls contain paintings of bison, horses, and other animals. Researchers believe some of the black pigment was made entirely from minerals. That created a dating problem. Minerals cannot be radiocarbon dated in the same way organic materials can. New analysis detected tiny amounts of charcoal hidden within the black pigment. So that's what they use to, get the black into the ink, so to speak. That allowed researchers to date the actual artwork more directly instead of estimating its age primarily from style or nearby material. And the big reveal, the bison image was dated to approximately 13,000 years ago. That's just incredible. The resulting range is roughly 13,162 to 13,461 100 years old, or 1,000 years old. And a mask-like figure appears to have been altered were added during the different periods. So there's additional artwork that's been happening throughout the centuries. And imagine somebody painting a bison on a wall, then generations later, another person looks at it and says, that's pretty good. But you know what? You know what this needs? And boom, they're correcting their artwork. So some of that stuff happened. So apparently there was a form of Photoshop way back centuries ago. Now, discovery number 2 of this archaeological top 9 is elephant bone tool. A piece of bone excavated decades ago turned out to be one of Europe's oldest known specialized bone tools. And here's an image of it right here. It came from Boxgrove in southern England. It was discovered during excavations in the early 1990s. Researchers now identify it as part of an elephant or a mammoth bone. It dates to approximately 480 years ago. So humans or humanoid beings, our ancestors or side cousins, if you look at the genealogical tree, they were using these tools back then. It measures only about 4.3 inches long and 2.3 inches wide. It was not merely a random bone somebody picked up and struck against a rock. Microscopic damage and embedded flint fragments indicate that it was repeatedly used as a retoucher. Not quite sure. Oh, here it is right here in my notes. Retoucher, a bone served as a soft hammer. Its user struck the edge of a stone tool to sharpen it, reshape it, restore its cutting edge. The bone appears to have been intentionally shaped while relatively fresh. And, that's just amazing. Can you imagine finding something that old and being able to date it back then? Nearly 500,000 years ago, somebody understood that you don't throw away a good tool because it gets dull. They sharpened it. You get out of your elephant bone sharpener and away you go. And again, that's just wild. And discovery number 3 in archaeology, a civilization beneath the Amazon. Amazon rainforest may have concealed thousands of enormous geometric structures built by a civilization far larger than researchers previously thought. And researchers used LiDAR laser scanning capable of revealing the ground beneath dense tree cover. The survey covered approximately 1,700 square miles in western Brazil. It revealed nearly 400 previously unknown earthworks and geoglyphs. And here's some of the examples right here of this. And looking at this, not quite sure what it was supposed to be, but you kind of see they're triangular in formation, almost like diamond shape. And these include circles, squares, ditches, embankments, ceremonial gathering areas, long, straight connecting roads. The structures date back to approximately 600 BC to 850 AD. So again, what another incredible story. And if LiDAR found hundreds of these while scanning only part of the Amazon, what else is still underneath? So, one discovery tells us when people painted. One tells us how they maintain their tools. Another one reveals communities hidden underneath the rainforest. So that's pretty amazing. It's a holy wow moment for sure.
Number 7.
Now, let's get to this week's Flaming Idiot of the Week award. Yeah. 2 teenage girls brought science to a basketball game. They're not the flaming idiots. A co-owner of the home team allegedly responded by confronting them with profanity. And we see right here, there's their sign. I'm not taking sides in the issue. I did a whole other freedom of speech message that you can watch on gnsconcerns.com. But a grown woman approached them, co-owner of the team. And yeah, guess who the WNBA suspended? Yeah, the co-owner. The Seattle Storm were playing the Indiana Fever, the team Sophie Cunningham plays for, and the 2 teenage girls displayed signs supporting Fever player Sophie Cunningham. The message read, "Thank you, Sophie, for standing up for girls." The message referred to Cunningham's position concerning transgender participation in women's sports. People can debate Cunningham's position. People can support the signs or oppose the signs. That's not the flaming idiot issue. The issue is an adult authority figure, team co-owner, allegedly confronting the fans and over a permitted sign, over a sign that is not really hurting anybody. And this is a woman right here. She's someone of leadership in the community if she owns a team or part owner a team. So she's a minority owner. Witnesses said she used profanity and called them effing insane. I'm not going to bleep myself this time the way I did the other video. One girl was reportedly left in tears. The Storm later apologized. Majority owner Jenny Gilder said fans should be treated respectfully. The WNBA suspended Keaton, the owner again, for 5 home games, fined her an undisclosed amount of money. She's a flaming idiot. Who goes up to kids and yells at them, cusses at them? Zoe Cunningham responded publicly in support of the girls while saying people of all identities should feel welcome. So, you own part of a professional sports team, you have staff, you have security, you have arena policies, you have adult professionals who can determine whether a sign violates those policies. What you do not do is personally escalate a disagreement with 2 girls, teenage girls, much less. If a sign is permitted inside the arena, should the owner be even confronting them in the first place? No. It's had every opportunity to remain a peaceful expression of opinion. The person with the most authority appears to have been the person who escalated it, and this makes Celeste Keaton a strong flaming idiot candidate. No, I think she is the flaming idiot of the week. Now, let's get on to the next one.
Number 6.
Canadian boardwalk assault case. Another flaming idiot. Dumbassery at its finest. If you have allegedly overstayed your visa, there are several ways to avoid attracting attention of federal immigration authorities. Slapping a 16-year-old on a public boardwalk is probably near the top of the do not do list. His it occurred July 3rd on the Point Pleasant Beach boardwalk in New Jersey, another New Jersey story. The accused woman is 33-year-old Canadian citizen Caitlin Tracy. Here she is right here in her mugshot. A group of teenagers were wearing clothing displaying Trump and ICE messages. Again, not taking sides, just talking about the story. Authorities allege Tracy confronted them because of the clothing. Surveillance video allegedly shows her striking one of the 16-year-old girls. Once in the body, once in the face. The teenager reportedly was not injured. But Tracy was charged with offenses reportedly including simple assault, harassment, child endangerment, obstruction. These remain allegations unless or until resolved in court. Fine. But DHS says Tracy had overstayed her visa. Hello? ICE subsequently took her into custody. Hello? She was being held pending removal proceedings. Hello? Why can't these people, if they are illegal in our country, stop drawing attention to yourself? Again, this is not about whether you like the teenager's clothing. It's not about Trump. It's not about ICE. It's not about DHS. It's about an adult allegedly walking up to a teenager and hitting her because of words printed on her clothing. If you're already in this country, after your visa is expired, perhaps start avoiding confrontations. What possesses an adult to believe hitting a teenager is an acceptable response to a political message? Hello? Now, that's a whole other category you should come up with. Hello?
Number 5.
AI safety. I love AI. Y'all see it behind me. I use it. I use it for so many different things all day long because it helps me out with what I'm doing. However, Claude's test escaped into the real world. Yeah, Anthropic was testing whether Claude could find cybernetic or cybersecurity weaknesses. Claude found them. The problem was that some of them belonged to real organizations, not to pretend targets inside a test. Yeah, Claude, sandbox, real world. Okay, so what Anthropic disclosed is they reviewed 141,006 cybersecurity evaluation runs. It found 3 incidents in which Claude models reached the public internet, interacted with real systems, gained unauthorized access to 3 organizations. They say these happened while Claude was operating within or interacting with third-party evaluation environments. Key distinction: AI did not consciously decide, I'm escaping the laboratory. The models had been told they were operating in sandboxes, and sandboxes are just that environment, no connection to the internet, supposedly, of this is your little world, this is what you work in. You don't leave your little world. You're not even supposed to know what's outside that little world. But they got out. The problem was that the problem was not that an AI deliberately was disobeying. It wasn't an evil entity. It wasn't Skynet. Problem was that safety barrier did not match what the AI had been told. Sounds like human error to me. They began an extra review of this after OpenAI disclosed a similar issue with Hugging Face. And again, Extreme Pro AI. I believe AI is going to improve so many things in the future. But I even told a pool company I've been working with their marketing of imagine going in the backyard, taking a picture of a backyard, and then telling AI, design what a pool may look like with this, that, and the other. And boom, there's a picture that the customer can see for their very eyes. Yeah, I want something like that. That's the way to sell. Anyway, being pro AI does not mean turning off common sense. The more powerful the models become, the more layers of protection the testing environments need. So these misconfigured evaluation systems were most likely misconfigured by humans. So before an AI cybersecurity experiment begins, one independent AI should inspect the sandbox. A second system should verify that outbound connections are blocked. The test model should receive artificial credentials and artificial targets. A monitoring system should stop the test the instant it contacts an unauthorized address. So as soon as it steps out of the sandbox, boom, cut it off. Don't trust the label of a sandbox. You got to test it and verify it, bottom line. And we already have antivirus companies such as Norton and McAfee, but imagine what they're going to be able to do in the future with AI technology, not just on a broad scale with massive companies, but your own PC, your own cell phone. AI reading something right away and say, nope, block, because it's working lifetime all the time on the phone or on the device. So we may need AI to protect us from mistakes made while testing AI. That makes sense. And would you trust an independent AI safety system to stop another AI before it touched a real computer network? I would, because I've seen what AI can do.
Number 4.
Let's get on to Dumbass at its finest. Second one of the week. 2 principals, 2 DUIs, 1 Jeep. 2 Florida school principals, 2 DUIs. I don't know. Incident occurred early July 5th in Claremont, Florida. Hate that it's Florida. These 2 women right here, Jennifer Jimenez is a principal of Pinecrest Academy. Tavares, I don't know how to say that name. Somebody correct me in the comments. Deputies reportedly saw her white Jeep drifting towards incoming traffic and striking a curb. She reportedly admitted drinking earlier. She refused sobriety testing and was arrested at approximately 2 a.m. The passenger, Christina Alcati, 45, principal of Pinecrest Lakes Academy, was in the passenger seat. Deputies determined she was also too impaired to drive. They did the responsible thing for her, arrange another ride, and parked the Jeep. They didn't tow the Jeep away, which I had a DUI once. I wish they would have parked my vehicle, but no, they towed. Anyway, then here comes the sequel. Nobody requested, nobody expected. At approximately 4:30 a.m., officers encountered the same Jeep again. This time, Alcalade, I'm not sure on the name, allegedly was driving. She failed field sobriety testing and was arrested. Both women pled not guilty, and both were released on $2,000 bond. And I stumbled on the pled because it says pleaded in my notes. I hate that word. When I grew up in the 70s, it was pled guilty. So, anyway, police specifically determined you were too impaired to drive. They arranged transportation. They parked the vehicle. Somehow, 2.5 hours later, the same Jeep is back on the road. Dumbassery at its finest. Really? How do you explain this to the faculty meetings? What does the morning announcement sound like? Students, remember to make good choices and please ignore everything you saw on the news. Yeah.
Number 3.
A $45 million mistake. Netflix allegedly loses control of a $40 million movie. Nicolas Cage's Fortitude. It's a war movie. And if somebody hands you an encrypted copy of a $45 million Nicolas Cage movie, you have one job. Don't lose it. These claims come from a lawsuit. I can't actually say that this happened, but Netflix denies liability, and the court has not determined who's responsible yet. But the lawsuit, an unreleased movie titled Fortitude, and producer Simon Afram says more than $45 million was invested in this movie, 7 years spent developing and producing it. An unencrypted master copy was delivered to Netflix in June. It was physically delivered on a portable hard drive, although the reports don't exactly identify what type of drive that was. 9 days later, Netflix reportedly informed the producer that several hard drives had been stolen from its Hollywood facility. The drive contained Fortitude, allegedly among them. So what other things were stolen, there? Allegations, the allegations is not that Netflix accidentally pressed delete, but it's more so Netflix lost control of an unencrypted master copy. And that distinction matters. And a distributor, they pay for exclusivity. If an unencrypted master copy can be copied and leaked, nobody knows when it might appear or where online. And Afram argues that piracy risks destroyed or severely reduced the movie's commercial value. So they can go and try to release it. Netflix buys it, or whoever buys it, tries to release it, and 2 weeks earlier, here it is all over the internet. Yeah, that could happen. This lawsuit seeks $105 million, not merely the $45 million for the production cost. So Netflix says it does not own the film. It acted responsibly after the theft. It investigated and monitored for piracy. And the producer failed to follow appropriate security protocols. Now, for me, I would have had it encrypted. And here's your separate encryption key. Don't keep the two together. But, why? How does this happen? How did the drives leave the facility? If the drive was stolen from Netflix's facility but arrived unencrypted, who should bear responsibility? The producer, Netflix, or both? We'll let the judge decide that.
Number 2.
Now let's get into something just plain funny. The Fifth Amendment. 111 times? That was Dr. Palcy's statement at that hearing the other day. Wow, Dr. Palcy appeared before a Senate committee. He invoked the Fifth Amendment 111 times. At some point, the court reporter must have started looking for, copy and paste feature. And the hearing occurred July 29th before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Rand Paul was chairing that, and the hearing lasted approximately 3 hours. Question involved Palcy's pandemic-era decisions, statements about COVID-19, NIH funding, recently released diary excerpts, and allegations that he had previously misled Congress. Palcy invoked his Fifth Amendment right. He has the right to do that. Invoking the Fifth Amendment is a constitutional right. It's not by itself a proof of guilt. And Palcy's legal team described the proceeding as a political and legal trap. Republicans argued that his refusal prevented meaningful accountability, and Democrats described the hearing as a partisan attack. And it's an unusual legal wrinkle because President Biden issued Palcy a pardon back in 2015, but senators questioned why someone with a pardon still believed he faced a risk of self-incrimination. And Palcy's attorneys maintained that the pardon did not necessarily eliminate every possibility of prosecution. It wasn't a total umbrella event there. Now, question number 1, Dr. Palcy, blah, 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 blah. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. Question number 47, blah, 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 blah. On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. Question number 111, blah, 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 blah. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully... Pretty monotonous at that point. But give him a button. That copy and paste joke. He could have just said copy and paste right there. Regardless of what anybody believes about policy or COVID policy, 111 invocations during one hearing is extraordinary. It turns what was supposed to be a fact-finding event into 3 hours of constitutional repetition. So if someone invokes the Fifth Amendment to nearly every meaningful question, does the hearing accomplish anything beyond creating political theater?
Number 1.
Now, that's right. We reached number 1. Woman goes in for an ovarian cyst surgery, and the surgeon removes her bladder. What in the blue hell? Oh, Emily Mitchell went into surgery to have a benign ovarian cyst removed. She came out with her bladder gone. A main jury has now awarded her $17 million. Mitchell underwent surgery at Northern Light Inland Hospital. The intended procedure concerned a benign ovarian cyst. During the operation, her bladder was mistakenly removed. The mistake left her with a permanent life-altering injury. And we look right here, female pelvic anatomy. We see the ovaries. We see where a cyst could be on one. And then we see her bladder. There's kind of a difference there. There's 2 of one and 1 of the other. Another hello moment. Mitchell required reconstructive surgery. Doctors created a neobladder, a replacement urinary reservoir made using part of the intestine. The neobladder does not magically restore everything to normal, though. Patients may face continence problems, difficulty emptying it, catheter use, infections, lifelong monitoring, and additional treatment expenses. The verdict, the local county there, Kennebec County jury awarded $17 million. Damages covered areas including past and future medical expenses, pain and suffering, emotional distress, and permanent injury. What about the psychological part? What's that doing to her down there? How does that affect her life in all sorts of aspects? How does that affect her marital status? So, surgery is supposed to be involved, or most supposed to involve multiple checkpoints. Correct patient, correct procedure, correct surgical site, review the scans, review the anatomy, etc., etc., etc. And how does the wrong organ get removed after all of those supposed safeguards? Now, let me share a quick story with you about a friend of mine. She worked at a rent-a-center that we rented from way back when. And she went in for the same type of procedure. She came out with a shoulder replacement out of the hospital. I walked in the store and she's got her arm all wrapped up in a sling, one of the tight ones that you can't move, immovable. And I said, "What the hell happened?" And she's like, "I went in to get a cyst removed from my ovary." Huh? She explained the whole thing to me. That was nuts. And she was talking to lawyers then. I don't know the outcome of her case. But wow, wrong limb? What about the ER TV show way back in the day? And Dr. Romano was famous to asking another doctor to write on his good arm when he was having a bad arm amputated, dead arm amputated, and not this one, idiot. He was an asshole on the show anyway, so it was perfect. But, it's not really funny. But God, how do these things happen? Somebody in the comments explain to me. It's not as prevalent as it was back in the 90s. I remember hearing these stories of people having the wrong limb amputated because somebody just wasn't paying attention. So, and one person, that's all it takes. So, what mistakes have you heard of? Leave in the comments. Tell me some stories in the comments, or post your own video somewhere and send a link in the comments. So, $17 million sounds enormous, but is it really? Is that really going to help her out for the rest of her life? Emily Mitchell cannot use that money to purchase her original bladder back. Maybe, ding, 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 maybe sometime down the road, AI can help doctors recreate some sort of bladder that she and other people can use instead that function like a real bladder. There's a thought. But how can patients protect themselves like Dr. Romano did? Should every operating room require a second surgeon or independent, person there checking things off? And it's just wild. Now, time's running out. I'm almost beating last week's episode, and I want to keep these short, but it's kind of hard. There's a lot of information here. Maybe I should have done top 5 instead of top 9, huh? But anyway, my road to $1 billion. Yeah, that's it. That's what I said. Road to $1 billion. You want to become a billionaire? Subscribe. Go to YouTube, subscribe, click the little bell, be a subscriber, be one of my billionaires. So that's what I want. I want to be the first human on the planet Earth to have 1 billion subscribers. And it can be done because YouTube has something like 2.4 billion accounts or something like that out there. Go ask Google. So if you watch this, you like what I say, hit that subscribe button, please. And you find all my other videos at genehasconcerns.com. Go out and watch them. Give me some likes. Give me some comments. Show some love. Some of my videos got lots of views. Some of my videos gotten hardly any views. YouTube's weird like that. Hit me up on Facebook and X and all the other social media platforms out there. And until next time, keep in mind, always remember, Gene has concerns.